Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by green fields and flowing rivers, there lived a hard-working farmer named Ravi. He was known for his kindness, honesty, and simple way of life. Every morning before sunrise, Ravi would wake up, say a small prayer, and walk to the nearby river to fetch water for his crops and home. Ravi had two large pots that he carried on a wooden pole across his shoulders. One pot was new and perfect, with smooth sides and no cracks. It was proud of its beauty and strength because it always delivered a full pot of water from the river to the farmer's house. The other pot was old and cracked. A thin line ran down one side, and every day, as Ravi walked back home, water slowly leaked out through the crack. By the time they reached the house, the cracked pot was only half full. The perfect pot often mocked the cracked pot. "Look at you," it would say proudly. "You are useless. Every day you lose half your water. I do my job perfectly, but you fail again and again." The cracked pot felt ashamed. It listened silently, carrying the heavy burden of guilt. It wished it could be as perfect as the other pot. Days turned into months, and months into years. One morning, as Ravi walked toward the river, the cracked pot finally spoke. "Master," it said softly, "I am ashamed of myself." Ravi stopped walking and looked at the old pot with gentle eyes. "Why do you say that?" he asked. The cracked pot sighed. "For years I have failed you. Because of my crack I can only deliver half the water. You work so hard, yet I cannot do my duty properly. I hear the other pot laugh at me every day, and I know it is right. I am not good enough." Ravi smiled, but he said nothing. Instead, he continued walking to the river, filled both pots with fresh water, and began the journey home. As they walked along the narrow path, Ravi spoke. "My dear pot, I want you to look carefully at the side of the road where you hang." The cracked pot looked down. Along its side of the path, beautiful wildflowers bloomed in every color. Yellow sunflowers, purple lilies, red poppies, and tiny white daisies dancing in the breeze. They stretched all the way from the river to the farmer's house. "Do you see those flowers?" Ravi asked. "Yes," the cracked pot replied. "I planted those seeds years ago," Ravi said. "I knew about your crack from the very beginning. Every day as we walked home, the water that leaked from you watered those seeds. Because of you, these flowers grew." The cracked pot was silent. Ravi continued. "Every morning, I pick these flowers to decorate my home. I also sell some at the market, and they help me earn extra money. Without you, this beauty would not exist." Tears of joy seemed to fill the cracked pot's heart. "You thought your weakness made you worthless," Ravi said kindly, "but your weakness became a blessing. What you saw as a flaw was actually your special gift." The perfect pot, hanging proudly on the other side, had nothing to say. For the first time it felt small. The cracked pot no longer felt ashamed. Instead it felt proud, not because it was perfect, but because it had purpose. From that day on, it carried its water with happiness. It no longer compared itself to the perfect pot. It understood that everyone has cracks, flaws, and imperfections. But those very imperfections can bring unexpected beauty into the world. As seasons passed, the flowers along the path grew even brighter, and villagers often stopped to admire them. "What a beautiful road," they would say. Ravi would simply smile, knowing the truth. One day, a young boy from the village asked him, "Farmer Ravi, how did these flowers grow so perfectly here?" Ravi pointed to the old cracked pot and said, "Because perfection is not always what it seems. Sometimes the broken things create the most beautiful blessings." The boy looked at the pot with new respect. And so the cracked pot lived the rest of its days not with shame, but with peace, knowing it had been enough all along. Moral of the story: your flaws do not make you weak. Sometimes the very things you think are your weaknesses are the reason you bring beauty into the world.